I'm sharing my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. I. Okay, today what we are going to cover is virtual machine. It is part of compute. Under this compute topic, we'll discuss today about the virtual machine. And in the basics, we have taught you about that IaaS service. You remember that those services, right? Can you guys have any idea regarding that? Can someone explain me?
What Vamshi, could you repeat?
IaaS service, IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. He explained, right, Banu, with pizza example.
Yes, he explained.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Do you guys have idea, right? I'm showing you the picture. Just see, this is the thing which we explained on that day.
Yes.
Yeah, this VM is also a part of IaaS service.
Okay.
And let me explain. What are the major VM virtual machine is nothing but a physical computer, but it is virtualized. Like using from one computer, we can connect to that VM. Simple definition for the VM. So I'll see. This is the on-prem. How we need to create a VM you in the under the on-premises. If you can see here, we will establish all these things: the storage, the networking, the servers, the maintenance, and everything. On top of this, we will create a VM. But let us go through the cloud thing once. How the cloud thing works is, suppose this is Azure. We can just create a VM on top of this. That's all. On top of the cloud. Just by accessing the portal, we can create that VM. What I'm going to say is that here for the setting up this whole infrastructure, we need to maintain. There will be more costs associated with it. We need to maintain the infra cost, maintenance cost, and we need to hire some people to maintain all those things. But here, everything Azure manage. We just create a VM. That's all. That's the difference between normal VM and this is the Azure VM. So today I'll show you how to create a VM using the Azure portal. First, I'm going to the portal. Here you can see virtual machines, or else you can search for virtual machines here.
Okay, Vamshi, how you will configure VPNs for these virtual machines?
VPNs for virtual machines.
Yeah.
Now, while discussing the networking part, we'll explain regarding that. Why? Because VPN is part of networking.
Means I mean to say integrating VPN with this virtual machine. You will explain at that time.
Um, really, because we are not sure about integrating the VM with VPN, but we can explain that. We'll explain the whole VPN and we'll tell how to integrate these things. So now I'm going to explain what are the requirements for creating a VM. First we need a resource group, and next we need a subscription, and we need a name, some generic name. This helps us in identifying the VM. And next we need an image is nothing but the OS which we want on the VM. Let it be Windows 1 or Linux 1. And the next thing which we need is size of VM. There are different sizes, different types of VM sizes, like general purpose, memory optimized, storage purpose. These are the different sizes of VM. I have explained everything regarding the size of VM in the document. What is the usage of this general purpose VM is that for the dev and test workloads which we are creating, and the storage optimized for hosting the SQL database and everything. And the other type is compute optimized. Compute optimized where we can use the application servers and web servers. And the next one is memory optimized where the for hosting the databases we need a database servers. So we use this database servers here. For machine and deep learning we'll use this GPU thing. These are the different types of sizes of VM, and they are marked as different in the portal as well. I'll show you that they are marked as like D1 size, S1 size, like that. And then we need a username and password, and the other thing is ports. These ports which are used for communicating with for a computer to communicate with the outside environment, we use this. We'll connect with we can ports establish the connection between these things, the outside and our computer. Mostly here we'll use the HTTP port, HTTPS port, and SSH port. SSH is only for Linux. These both are for Windows. Okay, now I'm show you how to create a VM. So here we selected the subscription. Under the resource group I'm selecting one resource group. I'm creating a new resource group, and I'm providing a virtual machine name, Azure VM, and I'm selecting a region. Region is also important. Why? Because if you want to host the VM in India, just select the VMs in India, Central India. For hosting all your data and storage, everything, we need these things. I'm selecting the East US. Based on our client needs, we can select the region, and the availability options we'll discuss in the next class. And the image here, if you can see the image, there are different types of images here. See, this is Ubuntu. Ubuntu is part of Linux. SUSE, it is also Linux, Red Hat. And under the Windows, you can see different servers. Windows 2019 data center, Windows 2016 data center, etc. So here I am selecting Windows 2019 data center Gen 2. And then I have mentioned earlier, right, there are different types of sizes. Here if you hover through this, here you can see what are the different sizes available here. There are different types like D1, D4, D3, V2. Here you can see general purpose, and they are memory optimized, and all the differences here. And you can see the what are the virtual CPUs which you get for each size, and what is the RAM available for that size, and what is the data disk I'll discuss later, and what is the
But
cost
here it is showing premium disk not supported. What is it?
where premium disk is not supported.
In the grid.
Yeah, I'll
Last.
explain you regarding the premium disk as well. It will come in next 15 minutes or 20 minutes. I will explain you the same. Okay.
Okay.
Here you can see the cost associated with it, and just remember this: here premium disk not supported, supported. Both options are available. I am selecting the D3. I'm selecting something which has some 8 AB RAM. Okay. Here I have selected this standard DS4 D4S V3 and it has 4 virtual CPUs and 16 GB of RAM and it cost me around 20,000 per month and I am providing some username, some generic username. And here you can see the ports. What are the ports? What is the thing of inbound port rules is that whatever the communication which we are receiving from the outside, whether to allow it or not. So here we are selected as RTP and I am selecting as HTTP, HTTPS. SSH is not required for Windows as I selected the Windows image and then I'm going to the disk. See under disk you can see.
Vamshi, I think could you go back to previous one?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, last there is licensing one.
Yeah, licensing
Here,
is something I'll explain. What is the issue? What I think generally mostly we won't use this. What is this? Is that if you have any license for any image, like suppose if you have Windows 10 Pro, and if you have the license of it, you can enable this. That you
means
have
it
this
is
particular license.
this license is related to enterprise license or which license it is?
It is
Because the virtual machine scaling will happen later on.
okay.
And for normally for enterprise also it will be like this many users like that, no?
See, generally, Dilip, what will happen is that whenever we select an image, we'll get a license with it. Okay, but if you
Okay.
have a license, you can enable this option.
Yeah, but I'm asking which type of license we need to provide here. It is enterprise license or
I think
already existing
yeah, I
license.
think
I understood
one
that
thing
part.
Dilip we have never used in our real time also, but mostly it is enterprise license only we use here.
Okay.
Okay, and then next is disk. Disk is also important in the VMs. Let us consider this concept here. Here in the disks we have two types, HDD and SSD. And most probably all of you know in the previous laptops we have this HDD hard disk drive and this is SSD now solid state drive and mostly the new laptops are coming with this SSD. Why? Because it improves the performance of our laptops and it requires less space when compared to the HDD. And in the HDD and SSD, and whenever you are creating a VM, you'll have OS disk and you'll have a temporary disk. Temporary disk will be part of this VM when we create. Under the OS disk, we can install all our applications and software. And this OS disk may be HDD or SSD, whichever we require. And from our port, while creating, I am using the premium SSD. There are three types available: premium SSD, standard SSD, and standard HDD. We can select whichever our need based on our project requirement. See, if you consider this standard HDD, mostly when you take any backup of your data, mostly it is preferable. And standard SSD for web servers and traffic and other dev test environments, we require this. Mostly premium SSD we'll use for the production environment, for production workload. So I'm selecting the standard SSD here. So here we have enabled an option. See here, delete with VM. Whenever we delete a VM, this OS disk also will get deleted. That is the option here. And this is the key management. There are different types of keys. What is this? The platform management key is that Microsoft encrypts all our data. Whatever data we store on the whatever the data we store on the disk, it will get encrypted. Microsoft encrypts in the background. And then there is other thing called data disk. We'll explain in a few minutes the concept of this.
Temporary disk we will not select here.
It will get automatically with the VM.
Okay.
So I'm going to review and create. I'll show you how to connect with the VM as well. I'm just creating a VM. It will take time. So meanwhile, I'll explain you the concept of disks here. See, what will happen is that this OS disk will store all the information, right? Under this Azure provides two types of disks. One is managed disk and the other is unmanaged disk. This managed disk, everything Azure takes care of it. The updates, and it will store the copies in the different parts. In a data center, it will store the data in different parts in the form of copies. Unmanaged disk, we need to take care of this. And for this unmanaged disk, we need a storage account to store the VHD file. Storage account is required for this. And under this managed disk, we have two types. One is the OS disk, and the other thing is the data disk. And the OS disk, as discussed above, it will install the applications and the software. But consider this data disk. Data disk is something if you want to attach any additional disk to your VM. Any additional disk to your VM, we can create a data disk and attach it to the VM. That is the usage of this data disk.
Do you mean network drives? Right?
Yeah, like C drive, D drive, like that. If you want any drive, suppose if you have, while creating a VM, you will get only OS disk. Suppose consider this as C drive. If you want any other drive with extra storage, we can create a data disk and attach it to the VM. That's all. So what will happen is that mostly will not install any applications here and any software here. Generally, we'll use this for storing the data. That's all. This data disk. Why? Because when we detach, we lose everything on the VM. We can attach and detach this at any point of time.
Yeah, we used it.
Yeah,
Similar
okay.
one.
And Dilip, now you asked that concept, right? The premium disk. What will happen is that for some images, for some OS images, only the premium disk will be available, like premium SSD. Earlier you have seen, right, premium SSD and
Yeah.
standard SSD and standard HDD. Only for some VM images and for some what we say that some sizes only the premium SSD will be supported. So to those, if we want the premium SSD, we need to select that particular size. That's the usage of that premium. That's where we can see, where we have seen that what to say, the premium disk not supported, that option. Okay, Philip, you understood
Okay.
that thing, right?
Yeah. Means it will be having some more features than SSD. You mean to say?
It's not like, yeah, it's like same thing, but what I'm saying is, what I'm conveying is, Dilip. See, okay, I'll explain you in the pictorial.
Okay.
See here, size and premium disk. Suppose if you consider this B1 size, it not supported, and consider this B2 size, it is supported. And now you got a requirement from client that they want they want a VM for production workloads. As I mentioned earlier, for production workloads, we'll choose the premium SSD. So now which one will go? We'll go with the B2 size, right? So that's what I am trying to convey. You understood, Dilip, now?
Okay. Okay. But I did not know about. I know about SSD, but I don't know about premium SSD. Do you know about this one? Premium SSD and SSD difference?
Premium SSD is the, I mean, like consider this as the more space. premium standard. Suppose if you consider the standard, if they provide 100 GB for the standard, for the premium they provide 200 GB, so they can store more data there. That's all. That's the difference. It's not. I'm saying it as a generic thing. If you want, you can go through the Microsoft official documentation.
Okay.
Yeah. Now our VM got provision. So to connect to this VPN, we need to connect to this VM and we need to do something. To connect to this VM, we have three options. We can do the RTP. For Windows VM, to connect to this VM, we need to do RTP. This is called Remote Desktop Protocol. In Windows, if you just search for run and just search for MSDSC, from there you just need to enter the public IP of the VM, which will be attached, which will we get after creating the VM, and just enter the password, username and password. Now you will be able to log into the VM. I'll just show you the thing.
Yeah, Mumshi, I was asking about VPNs because for following the same process, without connecting to VPN, I cannot connect to remote that VM previously. VPN, if I connect with VPN only, at that time I could able to connect. So I'm asking you
Dilip,
the process.
is it you working on your client laptop or your company laptop?
Mostly we use it to work on company laptop and login into Azure virtual machine.
Yeah, Dilip, when you work on company laptop, you need to work on their network only. Company has separate network. Under that network only, you need to log into the any VMs. So the one
Yeah,
thing what they will
similar
enable,
way I'm asking you.
yeah, one thing what will enable. See, if you here we can restrict that as well. I will show you in later parts.
Okay.
Like what will happen is Dilip, we have the DNS, right? Company DNS. Suppose if you consider some techwithus.com, we can attach
Yeah,
a,
IP address. You mean to say like IP address?
yeah, using that IP address only, when we
Yeah, I
suppose,
know about IP address related one. We can restrict range and IP address ranges and specific IP address as well. But through VPN, I'm asking.
see Dilip, I'm saying the same thing. Suppose consider a company and they have some domain like company.com, and when they created a VM and they attach the domain to it, they attach the DNS to it, to that VM. Once that, then what will happen is that they will restrict this VM to their network only. So what we'll do, you'll connect to the VPN. When you connect to the VPN, it will redirect to the company network. From there, you can access this VM. That's the whole motive regarding what you're asking. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now our VM got deployed here. So I'll show you how to connect. Just search Windows Run and just search MSTSC. Here, just copy paste the IP address, public IP here. Just copy this public IP and paste this in the remote desktop. Control, yeah, and just press connect. Yeah, okay. Now enter what are the username and what is the username you have given here. Azure user. Sorry. Yeah.
I think you need to enter domain name as well. It
No, no,
is
it will, don't ask for the domain name. Maybe I am wrongly entering the password.
okay.
I'm just resetting my password. Just give me a minute.
Did you open the port? I think you need to open some port, no?
Everything is fine. Delete. Here there is an option, guys. If you come to this pane on the bottom, you can see the reset password. If you forgot any password, you can just provide your username and you can reset the password here. Meanwhile, I'll show you how to create the Linux VM as well. It's the same process.
Vamsi, RTP is for Windows, right?
Yeah, RDP is for Windows and SSH is for Linux. Update failed. Enter. Password.
Same like before, but we need to check the HTTP port, right?
Huh? Azure user at the rate 12345. Okay. When are you asking something?
Yeah, like we are creating it for Linux. Now,
Yeah, we are creating
we
for Linux.
check the port for HTTP. That's the only difference, right?
When we are not able to hear you, it's very
Uh, can you hear me now?
yeah, it's fine now.
So we have created as of now we have created for Windows
Yeah,
with RD.
yeah, with RDT. Now we are
So
creating for Linux
Linux only we need to change the
ports. That's all. Everything will be same. I mean,
yeah,
like
that's
it depends on you how you choose the size and the region, everything.
okay. The thing is the only difference is like the port
Yeah,
and
port
the
is
size.
different. And here for this Linux machine, we can connect through two ways. One is using the SSH key, and the other thing is the password. If we go through the password, we just need to provide the username and the password. I'll just show you that as well. Okay, and here the allowed ports I'm enabling all the three, but mainly we just need only SSH port for this. So if we enable the SSH port, we can connect to this VM. And next disk, I'm keeping it as it is, and I'm just creating the VM for the Linux. Okay. And I'm creating a VM. Sorry guys, sorry for this. Our laptop is pretty slow. See, creating Linux VM, we can access this VM under two ways. Like first, we can create using the username and password, and the other thing is that we can use the public key and private key. Why this is that? Because as we know, SSH is it will allow secure communication. So for this, we'll use this private key and public key concept here. We are just creating VM using the username and password. Once we able to log in this, I'll show you the next part next by creating the other VM. Okay.
So this is SSH secure domain means like
Secure
how it
shell.
is. Can you please elaborate by using username and password and the both the difference?
Nothing. Nothing much. What will happen is that by username and password, if you provide for same, everyone can access. But for those who have this public key and private key only, they can access this VM. That's all.
Where will public key and private key? Where will give that
Generally,
authentication?
mostly we'll use this public key and private key concept only in all our projects. Why? Because it will provide an extra layer of security. That's all. As you can see, the Linux VM got created. I'm just copying the public address. And to access this Linux VM, we need to install putty. You can just install this. See, as you can see, we are able to access this VM. You can see the here Linux VM at the rate Linux VM. So what I have provided here is that the login username and the password I have entered here. By using this, I was able to access this VM. And now I'll create a VM and I'll show you how to access this through public and private key. So let me go to the portal and I'm creating another VM. See here what is asking SSH public key. I have selected SSH public key here, and I am providing the username as Azure user, and I am providing the name as just provide this as just will provide this as Linux key. Let me name it as VM public key. What will happen is that while creating, a public key gets downloaded to our local. I am just downloading the key. The key gets downloaded to my local, and the VM gets created now in the backend. As you can see here, it is initializing the deployment and submitting the deployment here. Okay. So what we need to do is after this, when you download a putty, you will get another software called Puttygen. Just open this Puttygen and just load the key which we have downloaded. Under downloads, I have that key. When you download the Putty software, you will get another software called Puttygen. Just open this Puttygen, and after opening, what we need to do is that we need to just load that key which we have downloaded while creating the VM. So after loading, here you can see our key, right? Public key.pem. I'm opening that key. After opening, just click OK. I'm not doing any passphrase. I'm just doing one thing. I'm just saving the private key. That's all. What it will do is that it will create a private key. So I'm naming it as VM underscore private key. Now to access this, I'll use the putty again. Just go to the putty. Under this putty, you can see under SSH. Here there is an option called auth. Yeah. Under this auth you can see the credentials, right? For there you just select the private key which we have saved now. ఇది చాలా స్లోగా ఉందిరా, చాలా అంటే చాలా స్లోగా ఉంది. అదే కరెక్ట్ కాదంటలా, ఇక్కడ లోడ్ చేయాలి నేను దాన్ని. Guys, we are not able to load the key, the PC is very slow, it's taking more time. What we'll do is that just we'll load the key, and after loading the key we'll it will open a window. We just go to the session and just paste the public IP here and just open. It will ask the username, we need to just enter the username. Once we enter the username, it will just connect to the VM, connect to the Linux VM which we have created. That's the process. From auth credentials, under this private key for authentication, just select the browse. Under this you just select the key which we have saved as private key. Once you select the key, just go to the session. Under the session, paste the public IP of the VM and then just open. It will ask for the username. Just provide the username and click enter. You will be able to access the VM. That's the process goes on here. Yeah, sorry guys, we are closing this session. Why? Because our computer is pretty slow and we are not able to show what we are thought to show. Tomorrow we'll start from where we have stopped here. Sorry for the delay. Even the RTP thing is also not working. It is taking more time to show the Linux connection. Also, it is taking more time. So we'll continue tomorrow from here. Sorry for this. That's all. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, MC.
Bye.